I proposed to Rachel on a Thursday evening in March. We were walking through the park near our apartment, the one with the pond where ducks gathered every spring. I had the ring in my jacket pocket for 2 weeks, waiting for the right moment. There was no grand plan, no elaborate setup. It just felt right that day. She said yes before I could finish asking. Before we begin, if you enjoy these kinds of stories, please consider subscribing to the channel. Now let's get into the story. We stood there by the water, her arms around my neck, and I remember thinking this was exactly how life was supposed to feel. We had been together for 3 years at that point. Met through a dating app, which felt almost embarrassing to admit at first, but everyone does it now. Our first date was coffee that turned into dinner, that turned into walking around downtown until midnight. She was a graphic designer. I worked in accounting. Normal people with normal jobs and a normal relationship that just worked. The engagement period started well. We set a date for October, about 18 months out. Her parents were excited. My parents were excited. Our friends threw us a small party. Rachel dove into wedding planning with the kind of focus she brought to everything. Spreadsheets, Pinterest boards, vendor comparisons. I helped where I could, but mostly stayed out of the way. She seemed happy. I was happy. The first thing I noticed was her phone. Rachel had never been possessive about it before. She would leave it on the kitchen counter while cooking, toss it on the couch next to me during movies, hand it over when she was driving and needed directions. Casual. Easy. Then it stopped being casual. The phone started living in her pocket or her purse. Face down on every surface. She began taking it with her to the bathroom, even just to brush her teeth or wash her face. When notifications came through, she would glance at the screen quickly and either ignore it or pick it up and move to another room. Then came the schedule changes. Rachel had always been consistent with her routines. She worked from home 3 days a week, went into the office 2 days. Wednesday evenings she had a standing yoga class. Sunday mornings we got brunch. These were the rhythms of our life together. In May, about 2 months after the engagement, things started shifting. The home office days became office days. She needed to be there for meetings, for collaboration, for FaceTime with her team. It made sense. Her company was growing, taking on bigger clients. The yoga class moved to different nights. Sometimes Tuesday, sometimes Thursday. Once she went on a Saturday morning instead. When I asked about it, she said the instructor changed the schedule, then later said she was trying different classes to keep things interesting. Both explanations were reasonable. Both felt slightly off. Sunday brunch became less reliable. She would sleep in late, say she was too tired, suggest we do it next week instead. When we did go, she seemed distracted. Her phone would buzz and she would check it quickly, smile at something, then put it away and refocus on me. But that moment of distraction, that small smile at the screen, it stuck with me. I started paying attention in ways I never had before. Not snooping, just observing. When she got home from work, I would ask about her day and listen carefully to her answers. They were detailed enough to sound authentic, but vague enough that I could never quite picture what she had actually done. Meetings with clients, brainstorming sessions with her team, deadline pressure on a big project, all normal things that all sounded true but somehow felt rehearsed. She started changing in small ways, new perfume, better makeup. She dressed more carefully on office days, spending extra time on her hair. Even intimacy felt different, like she was performing rather than being present. Sometimes more adventurous than usual, trying things we had never done before. I wondered if she was trying to keep us from falling into a rut. In June, her best friend Amy got married. Rachel was a bridesmaid. She left Friday afternoon for the bachelorette party, came back Sunday evening. The wedding was the following weekend. I went as her +1, watched her stand up at the altar in a blue dress, smiling at her friend. At the reception, I noticed she checked her phone several times during dinner. When I asked if everything was okay, she said work was blowing up with a client emergency. She seemed stressed about it. We left early so she could deal with it from the hotel. That night, while she was in the shower, her phone lit up on the nightstand. I was not trying to look. I was lying in bed, scrolling through my own phone, and hers just happened to be within my line of sight. A text notification appeared. Just a preview, no name, just a number. The message said, "Missing you tonight. Wish you were here instead." My stomach dropped. I stared at the screen until it went dark. When Rachel came out of the bathroom, I said nothing. I did not know what to say. It could have been a friend. It could have been a family member. It could have been completely innocent. But it did not feel innocent. I could not sleep that night. I lay there next to her, listening to her breathe, trying to make sense of it. In the morning, I almost brought it up, but I was afraid of what I might learn, afraid of sounding crazy. So I started watching, noting times, checking social media, becoming someone I did not recognize. In July, we were supposed to meet with our wedding photographer to go over engagement photo concepts. Rachel canceled the day before, said she had a work thing she could not move. I called the photographer myself and rescheduled for 2 weeks later. When that date came, Rachel canceled again. Another work emergency. I rescheduled a third time without telling her until the day before. She looked annoyed when I mentioned it, but agreed to go. The photo session was awkward. The photographer kept asking us to be more natural, more relaxed, more connected. Rachel smiled on command, but there was no warmth in it. In one shot, he asked us to look at each other like we were in love. I looked at her and tried to see the woman I proposed to. She looked back at me, and I saw a stranger. We got coffee after the session. I finally asked her directly if something was wrong. She said no. I asked if she was having second thoughts about the wedding. She said no, absolutely not. She was just stressed with work and planning and everything happening at once. She reached across the table and took my hand. She said she loved me and could not wait to marry me. I wanted to believe her. I almost did. August was worse. She started traveling for work. Quick trips, 1 or 2 nights, always last minute. Chicago for a client pitch, Boston for a conference, Philadelphia for a team meeting. She would text me photos from her hotel room, from restaurants, from conference halls. All the evidence was there that she was exactly where she said she was. But something felt wrong. One night, while she was supposedly in Chicago, I called her at 9 p.m. She did not answer. I tried again at 9:30. No answer. At 10, she texted saying she was in a work dinner and would call me back later. She called at 11:15. She sounded tired, said the client kept them out late, said she was exhausted and going to bed. I said, okay. I said I loved her. She said it back. The words were right. The feeling behind them was not. In September, I told her I needed to talk. We sat on the couch, and I asked her point blank if she was seeing someone else. She looked shocked. She asked how I could even think that. She cried. Real tears. She asked if I trusted her. I said yes, because what else could I say? She suggested couples therapy. We started going twice a month. Rachel talked about feeling overwhelmed. I talked about feeling disconnected. We did exercises about communication. Some sessions felt productive. Most felt like performance art. She was saying the right things, crying at the right moments, holding my hand with the right amount of pressure. But I could not shake the feeling that she was acting. October arrived. Our wedding was 6 weeks away. Invitations had been sent. Deposits had been paid. My family was booking hotels. Her family was planning the rehearsal dinner. Everything was in motion, this enormous life event barreling toward us, and I felt like I was watching it happen to someone else. Then came the Friday that changed everything. Rachel said she was going to the office. She left at 8 a.m. I was working from home that day. Around 10, my phone rang. It was my buddy Marcus. He said he needed to tell me something but did not want to do it over the phone. He said he could come over during lunch. Marcus showed up at noon looking uncomfortable. He sat at my kitchen table and said he had seen Rachel the night before. He was out for drinks with coworkers in the downtown area where her office was. He saw her at a wine bar around 8 p.m. She was not alone. She was with a man. Marcus did not recognize him. They were sitting close, holding hands across the table. At one point, the man kissed her. Not a friendly peck, a real kiss. Marcus watched for another minute to make sure he was not mistaken. Then he left. He spent all night debating whether to tell me. He decided he had to. I thanked him. He offered to stay, but I said I needed to be alone. After he left, I sat at that kitchen table for a long time. I was not crying. I was not angry. I was just empty. Everything clicked into place. All the small inconsistencies, all the changed patterns, all the moments that felt slightly wrong. They were not paranoia. They were truth. I did not call her. I did not text. I waited. She came home at 6 p.m., kissed me on the cheek, asked how my day was. I said it was fine. She said she was exhausted from back-to-back meetings. I asked what she wanted for dinner. She said she was not hungry, had eaten late lunch with her team. I nodded. She went to shower. While she was in the bathroom, I picked up her phone from the counter. I had never done this before, never crossed this line, but I was past caring about boundaries. It was locked. I tried her birthday, wrong. I tried our anniversary, wrong. I tried my birthday. It opened. I scrolled through her messages. There was a thread with a contact saved as Emma. The messages were not work-related. They went back months. Dozens of exchanges every day. Good morning texts, miss you texts, planning meetups, sharing photos, inside jokes, everything that couples do, everything we used to do. I scrolled back to the beginning. The first message was from January, 2 months before I proposed. He had texted, "Good to see you tonight." She had responded, "You too. Can't stop thinking about you." It had grown from there. By March, when I was carrying an engagement ring in my pocket, she was telling this person she was falling for him. By April, after she said yes to marrying me, they were saying, "I love you" to each other. By summer, they were planning a future together. I read everything. I had to. I needed to see the full scope of it. His name was Daniel. He worked in her building, different company, same floor. They met in the elevator, started having coffee, then lunch, then drinks, then more. According to the messages, he did not know about me at first. When he found out she had a boyfriend, he tried to end it. She convinced him to stay. She said the relationship was already failing. She said she was going to end it with me soon. She said she just needed time. Then I proposed. In the messages after that, she sounded panicked. She told Daniel she did not know what to do. She said she could not say no without explaining why. She said she would figure it out. He was upset but understanding. He said he would wait. She said she loved him. She said she wanted to be with him. She said she just needed to handle the situation carefully. The situation. That was me. I was the situation that needed handling. The messages continued through the engagement. She was planning a wedding with me while planning a life with him. She complained to him about how exhausting it was to keep up the charade. She said she felt guilty but did not know how to get out. He suggested she just tell me the truth. She said she would. She kept saying she would. She never did. The most recent messages were from that afternoon. She had met him for lunch. She told him the wedding was in 6 weeks. He asked what she was going to do. She said she did not know. He said he could not do this anymore, could not be the secret while I was the public relationship. She said she understood. She said she would figure it out. She said she loved him. He said he loved her too. I put the phone back exactly where I found it. I sat on the edge of our bed and waited for her to finish showering. When she came out, wrapped in a towel, hair wet, smiling at me, I asked her who Daniel was. Her face went white. She did not ask how I knew. She did not try to deny it. She just stood there, water dripping onto the carpet, staring at me. I told her I read the messages. All of them. I knew everything. She started crying immediately. She said she was sorry. She said she did not mean for it to happen. She said she loved me, but she was confused. She said she was going to tell me. She said she did not know what to do. I asked her when. When was she going to tell me? Before the wedding? During the honeymoon? After we had kids? She did not answer. She just kept crying and saying she was sorry. I told her I wanted her to leave. Not forever, just for tonight. I needed space to think. She started to argue, said we should talk this through. I repeated that I needed her to leave. She got dressed, packed a bag, and left. She was still crying. I felt nothing. That night, I canceled the wedding. I called the venue, the caterer, the photographer, the band. I sent a message to both sets of parents explaining that the wedding was off, but not why. I told them I would provide more details later. Then I turned off my phone and sat in the dark apartment that suddenly felt enormous and empty. Rachel came back the next morning. She looked like she had not slept. She asked if we could talk. I said okay. We sat in the living room, far apart, and she told me the full story. It matched what I had read in the messages. She met Daniel, they connected, it escalated, she felt trapped. She said she did love me, but she also loved him. She said she thought she could make it work with me if she tried hard enough. She said she was wrong. I asked her what she wanted. She said she did not know. I told her that was not good enough. Did she want to be with me? Or did she want to be with him? She was quiet for a long time. Then she said she thought she wanted to be with him. But she did not want to lose me either. I told her she had already chosen. Every day for 10 months. Every text to him. Every lie to me. Those were choices. She just did not want to face the consequences. She said I was right. She said she was a coward. I asked her to move out. She wanted to wait, to stay friends. I said no. Clean separation. She packed her things over the next week. I stayed with my parents while she did it. When I came back, the apartment felt lighter, emptier, but mine. The weeks after were strange. People asked questions. I told close friends and family the truth. Everyone was supportive, which somehow made it worse. I did not want sympathy. I just wanted to rewind time to before any of this happened. But I could not, so I moved forward. Rachel texted me a few times. Apologies, explanations, requests to talk. I did not respond. There was nothing left to say. She had made her choice. I was making mine. A month later, I heard through mutual friends that she and Daniel were officially together. It bothered me less than I expected. Mostly, I just felt relieved that I found out when I did. 6 weeks later, and we would have been married. A year later, and we might have had a mortgage or kids or some other entanglement that would have made leaving harder. I got out at the right time, even if it did not feel right. I am doing okay now. Some days are harder than others. I still think about the good times, when everything felt easy. But I also think about who she became, or maybe who she always was. I learned to trust my instincts. I learned that small inconsistencies are not paranoia. They are data points building to a truth you do not want to face. Mostly, I learned that I deserve someone who chooses me clearly. Not someone who keeps me as an option. Someone who knows. I am not looking for anyone new. I am just rebuilding my life piece by piece, figuring out who I am outside of that relationship. Slow work. But it is mine.